Hey guys, it's Dean. Welcome to Manful Yoga. This video is going to be a short workout focused on opening up your hips. So for me, this is a workout that I did the morning after I did some squats. So my hips were really tight, feeling a little stiffness in the lower back, and this is the exact workout that I do to help relieve that stiffness in the lower back that's being caused by hip tightness. So we're going to start off in kind of a warrior one lunge. So right foot is forward, left leg's going to go back, pointed out about 45 degrees. And don't be too concerned with where your hips are facing here. Try to get your hips facing as straightforward as possible, but if they don't fully align toward the front, don't worry about it. Sink into your right knee, knee over the ankle, and you might want to crawl that foot forward so that your knee is actually a little bit behind the ankle, because we're going to work deeper into that. And then work on pressing your left hip toward the right hip and just getting a release through the groin. So again, I'm not too concerned with where my hips are facing here. I just want to make sure that I'm pressing that back hip toward the front hip and I'm getting a release through the groin. Now as you sink deeper into this and you realize that your knee might go over the ankle, crawl that foot forward a little bit. And now that we've got some depth here, I want you to push down through your right foot and see if you can get the right glute, the hip, to engage. Still pressing that left hip into the right hip, now pushing down to the right heel, getting the hips turned on, and then go ahead and bring your arms up. Get your chest to face straight forward, kind of rotating your chest because your hips are probably facing off to the left a little bit. So rotating your chest toward the right so that we're angled straight forward. And we're just going to do 4 deep breaths here. So deep breath in, see if you can lift up a little bit. And then as you exhale, sink a little bit deeper into this. And 3 more breaths. Make sure that your hips are, even if they're not perfectly aligned toward the front, make sure that your hips are centered. So if you tend to dominate on the left leg, try to make sure that your hips are leaning a little bit more to the right. So they are directly between the back and the front foot. And feel free to crawl the foot forward more as you work deeper into this. We've got 1 more breath here. And then go ahead and straighten that leg. We're going to pivot and switch. So now left leg is forward, right leg is back. Don't line up your feet in a parallel line. You're actually going to bring your right foot a little bit to the outside so that your left foot is more to the outside of your right foot. Again, so just not in a parallel line. Give a little bit of width between your stance. Right foot points out, and we're going to start with the knee maybe a little bit behind the ankle in the front foot. Focus on pressing your back hip, so your right hip, into the left hip, and focus on getting a stretch through the groin. Again, I'm not too concerned if your hips are facing straight forward or not. Our goal here is to create that sensation of a stretch in the groin. Now, as your groin starts to open up, right, as you exhale and sink deeper into this, your knee is going to go further forward. Make sure that that knee stays directly on top of the ankle or it's behind the ankle. Push that right hip into the left hip a little bit more. Now feeling a substantial stretch through the groin. Dig down through your left heel so you feel the left glute engage. Make sure your hips are kind of centered, right? So right between the left foot and the right foot, not off to the right, not off to the left, but right in the middle. And then go ahead and bring your arms up. Turn your torso to face straight forward. That's going to help you get a little more release through the right hip. And as you exhale, sink deeper into this. And we're going to do about 4 breaths here as well. So even if you're tired and your legs are sore, just keep holding it. The longer we hold it, the more we're going to work into our mobility. Your body recovers through movement, not by sitting down and doing nothing. So we do want to get the body moving. We do want to get the muscles burning. That's going to help the recovery process. A couple more breaths here. Sink a little bit deeper. Again, right hip still pressing into the left hip, left heel still pressing down so you feel that left hip engaged. 1 more breath. And then go ahead and release. All right, from here we're going to give the thighs a bit of a break. Step into a wide legged stance. Squeeze your legs toward one another. Pull your chest forward. Hinge at your hips, reach your tailbone toward the back wall, and slowly fold. Bring your hands to the ground, and don't go as low as you can just yet. I want you to focus on keeping length through your chest, and focus on getting a stretch through the backs of your thighs, so the hamstrings and the adductors, the inner thighs. Abs are tight. Thighs can be lightly engaged. And I want you to think of squeezing your thighs toward your chest and your abs toward your thighs. That's going to help you get a better release through the backs of your thighs. Keep your hands on the ground if they're down there now. And then also make sure that your hips aren't leaning back. So we actually want our hips in line with the feet. So your hips are actually slightly forward. And if you were to lift your hands off the ground, you would need your core to hold yourself upright. That's going to help you get a better stretch through the backs of your thighs and a little bit of release through your back as well. A couple more breaths here, just allowing the hips to release, providing some relief for those muscles in your legs. When those muscles get tight, they tend to pull in the back, and that causes that stiffness. So we're basically stretching all the muscles that connect to your spine. That's our goal right now. All right, and then go ahead and come back up. Use your core strength to come upright. Next one, you're gonna need a wall for this. So you can use a wall, or you can use a post, or just something that you can put your arms against. So I'm gonna use the wall. I'm gonna start looking at this camera over here. Bring your hands against the wall. Stand about 2 or 3 feet away from the wall. We're gonna pretend like we're doing a standing side stretch at first. So arms come overhead, kind of lean up and over to the left, or whichever direction the wall is. And then bring both hands to the wall. Create as much arch as possible, as much length through the outside of your body. And then press into the wall. Press your hips toward the outside. Try to keep both feet on the ground, and we're just going to get a really nice deep stretch for the outer hips and the outside of your body. So opening up the ribs and opening up the hips. And you know, we do groin stretches, right? We do lunges, we do forward folds to help open up the hips, but sometimes we forget about the side bending aspect of this. So getting in this really deep supported side bend helps to release your hips. We're going to do 5 breaths here, so this might sound like a long time, but the longer we hold it, the more the hips are going to open up. So as we inhale, getting a little taller, getting some length. As we exhale, maybe pushing the hips a little bit further and getting a deeper stretch through the outside of the body. Now as you're doing this, it helps to visualize the muscles lengthening. So however you want to picture your muscles, if you want to kind of see them as thick ropes, or you want to see them, you know, as muscle fibers, or whatever you have in your head that muscles are, I want you to visualize those getting longer as you do this stretch. And in particular, as you exhale, making that length grow. You got 2 more breaths here. One last breath. All right, and then go ahead and come back up. All right, and we're going to switch sides. So go ahead and turn around. Get on the other side of the wall. Bring your hands against the wall. All right, 2 or 3 feet away. You're going to start up kind of in that standing side stretch, lifting your arms up, pointing your fingers toward the ceiling, and then from here kind of leaning up and over toward the right. Bring your hands against the wall. Lean a little bit further than you normally would in a standing side stretch. We do have the support of the wall, so we can do that. And then push into the wall. Press your ribs up and away from the wall. Press your hips away from the wall as well. So getting as much length as we can through the outside of the body. And again, we think about groin stretches, right? We do lunges, we do forward folds to open up the hips, but we don't do side bending as much. So this is going to help to relieve pressure on the outer hips, and those get really tight too, especially when we're sitting and not doing much. right? When you're sitting, you're actually engaging the outer hips, because when your knees come to the outside in that squat position, we're engaging the outer hips. So if you sit a lot, these outer hips are going to be tight, and if you did a workout lower body-wise, the hips are going to tighten up just because those muscles were used. So really, there's not many situations that this side stretch wouldn't be beneficial. So we've got about 4 more breaths here. Again, you want to focus on inhaling to lengthen and then exhaling to get deeper or to make those muscles longer. Try to make sure that your chest is facing straight forward and you're using the wall to support yourself here. Don't just use your body to do this. Use the wall. That support is there for a reason, and it's going to help you work deeper into this, help you relax a little bit more. Your muscles do require relaxation in order to lengthen. They're not going to lengthen as well if you are totally tense and engaged. It does help to start out in that tense engagement or that active muscle engagement, but as you progress through the stretch, you do want to transition to kind of passive engagement, and that's going to help you lengthen the muscles a little bit more. 2 more breaths. Last breath. All right, and then bring it back in. Woo! Come back upright. Nice. All right, so we've done a lot of opening up to the sides. We've done some forward folds. We've done some hip opening. We're going to go to a forward fold again, this time feet together, feet about 6 inches apart, bending the knees. Squeeze your thighs toward your chest, squeeze your core toward your hip flexors. Bring your hands to the ground and release your hamstrings. Tuck your chin toward your throat, top of the head facing the ground. Thighs lightly squeeze toward one another, as well as thighs squeezing toward your chest, keeping the hips active, keeping your abs active. So that hip engagement, the ab engagement is going to help to release those muscles in the backs of your thighs and release tension on your lower back. When your lower back is sore, or if it's tense or it's tight, it helps to engage the opposing muscle group, which in this case are the abs. 2 more breaths here. All right, go ahead and sit down. Come all the way back up. All right, and release. So again, that was it. Just a quick little routine to help relieve stiffness in the hips. We got the outer hips, we got the inner thighs, we got the backs of your thighs, right, hamstrings, and adductors. So super quick little routine, help reduce stiffness in your hips. If you were feeling sore before, I want you to kind of just lift your knees up and down, do a little walk. You should feel a lot better in your hips. Your back should feel a lot less stiff. It should be easy for you to kind of squat down now, right? Sit into a nice easy squat position. Stand back up. You should be able to bend down easier if you need to pick something off the ground. And that lunge should feel better as well, right? It won't feel as stiff as it did before. So make sure to be doing some hip mobility on a very regular basis. At a minimum, I would make sure that you're doing a 1-minute high lunge or a variation of a high lunge, right? So that exercise that we did at the beginning, the first exercise, that Warrior 1, make sure that you're doing a lunge like that at least twice per day. So you can make it part of your morning, just before you go to work, before you get in your car, maybe when you wake up, just doing this little lunge just to open up your hips, and then making sure you do it at the end of the day as well, just to keep your hips mobile. That's going to keep your back happy. All right, if you're watching this from the members area, thank you for being part of the Manfo Yoga community. Leave a comment, let people know, let me know what you thought as well. And if you're watching this from outside the members area, maybe it's on YouTube or on Facebook, Leave a like, share it if you found it useful, and make sure you're liked the page and you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. We put out lots of great content like this on a very regular basis, showing you how you can use yoga to improve your fitness. And if you want to take it a step further and you're looking for full programs, tutorials, and workouts to help you, again, improve your fitness with yoga and get stronger, check out the members area. This is where I put all of my content, my workouts, my programs, my tutorials, and even diet and nutrition information. Learn more about that at manflowyoga.com. A 7-day trial is just $1 for unlimited access. Thanks again for watching. My name is Dean. This is Manflow Yoga, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for joining me for this workout today. Make sure you subscribe. We put out lots of videos like this on a very regular basis. And to get full access to all of my workouts, my programs, tutorials, and more, head to manflowyoga.com, sign up for a 7-day trial. It's just $1. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you on the next video.